The Royal Marines are the military chameleons, hauling ass wherever the rumble is on. But their heritage as commanders of the high seas can never be ignored, and nor can their most famous amphibious achievement.
The idea was the crews would paddle up the estuary, hiding at night, put explosive on the enemy vessels and get away.
The Royal Marines are a multi-purpose, multi-skilled, amphibious and land-attacking green tsunami. They can take a mission on anywhere and everywhere. But their pre-commando history lies way back on the high seas, in a time where they would board and butcher the enemy's vessel.
The Royal Marines have been in existence for several hundred years. Essentially, they provided boarding parties on Royal Navy ships, way back into the sort of 18th, 17th century.
During the 9 Years' War with France in the late 17th century, the Royal Marines headed up attacks on the enemy by raiding their ships.
The primary duties of the Marines was to be in effect, the embarked infantry on board a warship, and particularly when you came to ship-to-ship combat, when after you battered one another with your cannon, the ship's closed, they would be part of the group to storm over into the hostile ship to fight it out in what was in effect a hand-to-hand combat.
The hand-to-hand combat was brutal and bloody. These vicious attacks were carried out using the multi-purpose boarding axe.
It was an axe with a blade one side and quite often with a spike the other side.
But I think if you want to imagine a particularly ghastly prospect, think of some swarthy sailor or marine leaping onto your deck, clutching a boarding axe. And the psychological impact doesn't bear thinking about.
Some great big guy was coming at you swinging a boarding axe. You'd suddenly think of an urgent appointment elsewhere.
The Royal Marines often have an appointment elsewhere. One major appointment came with the Germans during World War II, when they drew upon their nautical ancestry for what became a legendary mission of daring and danger. By 1941, the German supplies were running thin. To sustain their war effort, they were shipping in vital materials such as oil, rubber, and metals from the Far East. The hub of their supply line was the French port of Bordeaux. In an initiative designed by Lord Mountbatten, the Royal Marines were charged with entering Bordeaux and blowing up these ships, diminishing the Germans' vital materials and stock. The mission codename, Operation Frankton.
One of the big operations the Royal Marines went on during World War II was to attack Bordeaux. And to attack Bordeaux, they had to paddle a long, long way in canvas canoes.
The idea was the crews would paddle up the estuary, hiding at night, put explosive on the enemy vessels and get away.
Major Herbert Hasler, nicknamed Blondie Hasler due to his golden mane, led the mission of 6 canoes on the evasive paddle toward their Bordeaux-based targets. Spewing from a submarine and then kayaking for 70 miles, carrying a tooled-up crew, this was a never-seen-before mission that required a never-seen-before canoe.
The canoes used by Blondie Hasler's men were of a special design designed by him, because he was a small boat expert. There were 2 aspects that he designed into them. One was they had to fold in order to go down into the hatch of a submarine.
Unlike conventional canoes, which had canvas bases, Hasler's design had a plywood bottom, making it stronger and more durable. He also designed it to fold down to half its height.
They were sufficiently sturdy to be able to be paddled up onto a beach and dragged without being punctured, because he realized that they were going to have to get pretty rough manhandling in their trip.
Hasler's canoe was dubbed the cockleshell due to its hard exterior and aquatic durability. En route, 8 men were either captured or drowned, but 2 canoes slipped through the net and made it to Bordeaux. Upon arrival in the port, their task was to blow up and make seabed slurry of the German ships. To do this, they adopted the most blistering of barnacles.
The Royal Marines succeeded in sinking several ships by attaching limpet mines to them. A limpet mine is attached to a ship using a magnetic force. You turn the magnet on, the magnet adheres to the ship. After a while, the time fuse goes off, and you blow a hole in the ship sinks.
The limpet mines were attached magnetically to the ship's hull, roughly 7 feet under the water. A timer could be set for up to several hours, giving those placing the mine time to make their escape. Small in size, the mines only packed 9 pounds of explosive. But underwater, that caused a 3-foot hole in the hull of the German ships. The commandos had achieved their goal. Several German freight boats were done for. By the end, only 2 men, including Hasler, made it back. But their story went down in legend, as did their name, the Cockleshell Heroes.
Only in the end, one vessel, that crewed by Major Hasler and his opposite number, were able to get away. 90% casualties, but a successful raid, causing great consternation to the Nazis.
The Royal Marine Commandos are a steamroller of land and amphibious special forces. They defend a small nation with the power, guile, and strength of a Goliath. Drawn together, the branches on their family tree reflect their unique genesis. From vicious axe fights in the Age of Sail to jungle and mountain warfare. From the world's longest and most arduous training regime to cool, calculating commandos. The Royal Marines. They are Britain's brilliant, brutal elite.